What if I told you that what you're listening to right now will change your life and it will shape your life? The information that you hear every day on a daily basis shapes who you are, because what you listen to shapes what you know. And then what you know ultimately shapes what you believe in. And then what you believe in ultimately shapes what you do. And what you do will become who you are today. We are built by the inputs we put into our lives. We are built by the inputs that we consume. If you're inputting garbage, garbage will come out. And this is why it's so important. The example I want to bring up is our children. What we invest into our children, what we do with our children, how we discipline them, how we shape how they believe affects their lives. This is why this whole schooling system is such a sham nowadays, that they shape the world in what we see today. What happened 20, 30 years ago is why we see the world where it is today. The garbage that they fed people and the lie that they fed about who we are. There's people believing that they're a dog. There's people who are painting their hair pink because they think that this empowers them somehow. I went to one of my kids' graduations, and seeing what I saw was just mind-boggling to me. And I look at the child and I see how they are dressed and how their hair color is. And it doesn't take long to know that looking at their parents, you see who and why they become the way they did. Children are the easiest people to manipulate. Children are the easiest people to shape the minds of a nation. This is how you indoctrinate a nation. You shape the children into what you want to be. This is why, like I said, we see the world where it is today, is because over time they have completely dysmorphed our society based off of what we consume, based off of what they allowed children to consume, based off even what we allow ourselves to consume nowadays, because what we input into our brain will become the output. Never in history have we had so much input in our lives, so much news, so much social media. We have a podcast, we have phones, we have anything you can name. We have AI. Like, we have so much information that sometimes we don't even know what to do with it. So that's why it's all more than important for us to have discernment in what we input, in what we let the world to shape what we think. Every single day we consume, so we have to understand that over time, the more we consume something, we will either become more like it or further away from it, depending on how we have disciplined our minds. Like, where are we rooted in? Are we rooted in Christ? Are we rooted in the Bible? Or are we letting the world shape us? Because one way or another, we are going to shape ourselves. It just depends on where and how. And what are we going to look more like? Are we going to look more like the secular world, or are we going to look more like Christ? This is why we have to discipline ourselves, because if we will not discipline ourselves, the algorithm will. If we don't discipline ourselves, the world will. And the call out I want to make is that men have completely let their guard down, especially in this age of information. We have let ourselves down. I have let myself down and my family down in how and what I let shape my mind, and how much information I consumed. And this is the call out I want to make, that men nowadays have let their guard down and let the world discipline their mindset. This is why we have so much undisciplined men. This is why we have so much people who are just consumed by so much information that they freeze. I mean, I would say I'm a victim of this, like, where there's so much information that I don't even know what to think sometimes. You're just frozen because you literally, brain is just racing, and then you just freeze up. I literally developed ADHD because of how much information I've been consuming, and just everything is so fast paced. Everything is short form video, and we are literally frying our brains. It's like brain rot. I just want to say that we have to be careful into what we let our minds consume. Again, I'm just saying the same thing over and over and over until I pound it into my own head. And ultimately, I hope I get into your head, because this matters. This matters because this is what is shaping your life. This is what will change your life. Because if we let God into our lives, if we meditate on things daily, if we build our foundation on Christ and in his word, we will know that we will have discernment in how we consume it. Like the number one thing you can ask yourself right away is, when I wake up, what do I do? What do I want to do right away? And most of the time, let's grab a phone. I want to see what's going on. And this is the problem. We have to start taking our lives and taking control of our lives and ask God to help us break free from the stronghold that is our phones and social media and all the information that is out there to shape our minds. What we heard, we believe in now. Like our parents, they put a seed in of faith in order for us to believe, and to believe that Christ did come and die for us. And so now we as Christians, we do believe that. Like you ask yourself, why do I believe what you believe? Because at some point, our parents have planted that seed in us that Christ is king, that Christ came down to die for us. Because without us hearing, we wouldn't have known. In Romans 10:17, it says that faith comes from hearing the word. At some point in our lives, we've heard the good news. At some point, information that we've heard shaped us in one way or another. And so that's why it is so important for us to understand that anything that we take part of, anything that we hear, we have to process in our brain and then understand that, is this something that will improve my life? Is this something that is good, or is this something that is just like brain rot and garbage that we so often see online nowadays? When we consume information, we become it. And we see this the most in children, that what we tell our children, what they consume, will ultimately shape them as well. Our children believe and they have faith in us because of what we told them. We tell our children truths daily, and obviously we can lie to our kids, but when we tell our kids, they have such faith in us because there's an authority that we have over children, and that they say childlike faith in us, and to understand that what we tell them is truth. If you let your children watch TV all day, they will become irritable, they will become ADHD and just screen dependent, erratic. That's because they just keep consuming garbage. They keep consuming like all these flashy things that their dopamine just gets reset, and they can't control themselves anymore. And that's why you see so much temper tantrums from children who always are on their phones, is just because their mind is already wired to want dopamine all the time. I just want to call us men, like, let's stand up, let's be strong, let's take control of our lives, let's take control of our families, and watch what our family consume. Be the steward of what your family consumes, and try to have discernment and knowledge and be rooted in Christ to know that what my family hears, I will be responsible for. What my children do and who they become is a big responsibility, and the effects of who they become are influenced by me, by you. So I want to close with this. What you hear builds what you are going to believe. And what you believe will shape in what you do, and what you do will shape in who you become. So choose your inputs carefully and become the voice that somebody else will want to hear. And that way you may have eternal impact on somebody's life. Hey guys, if you like this type of content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to hear more from us, just select one of these videos, here or here, doesn't matter. Hit all the buttons possible and spread the word, share our page, and we would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below or across our social media platforms. Blessings.